Hi, I'm Dan Galpin, and I'm here with Ian Lake, the technical lead on the navigation component. What were your goals in building the navigation component? And what was missing from the old way of navigating?
Yeah, I think a big focus of it was just giving a higher level view of your app, right? When you think about an app, it's not just one screen, right? It's not just the two buttons you have on the screen and an image, right? It's your whole app, right? If any complicated app, right? It's a whole bunch of different things on it. And navigation really gives you that higher level view of being able to kind of reason about like how people move through your app and how people actually are going to use your app at a higher level. So that's a really big goal for navigation.
What is the benefit of having a navigation graph for developers? Is there a benefit for users?
Definitely. I think one of the things that's most surprising about a navigation graph is that it's a developer tool, right? It's how you define your different screens in your app. But it also gives you a really good insight into how users are going to use your app, right? If you're looking at your navigation graph and it's looking like spaghetti with lines everywhere connecting every screen, like that's the mental model that users have to put in their head on where they can go from where. So I think it's a really good equalizer to say like, well, if my navigation graph is complicated, my users are going to think that my app is complicated, even if it is just a few screens. So it's definitely a benefit for both users and for developers.
How did you approach defining how back and up should work?
Yeah, it was a multi-team effort between the material team, the Android UI team, and many other teams to just try and figure out like what is the most predictable behavior. Like a really strong focus of navigation is be more prescriptive and try and give a good default for every app, so that users don't have to relearn the entire navigation system from one app to the next. And up versus back are kind of one of those questions that every app seems to do things slightly differently. And hopefully, as we roll out navigation, it becomes more consistent across every app so that users get a very expected behavior when they hit the system back button or when they hit the up button.
Why did you pick a fragment-centric model for the navigation graph?
Yeah, one of the things that we made a really strong push for navigation was to make it generic in terms of any kind of destination. But we knew we needed a default type of destination, something that developers were very familiar with and would give them access to a lot of the other cool APIs that we have in architecture components and other places. So the fragment API ended up being kind of that perfect genesis of an existing API that had all the strong things we need. It had the view and stuff that you would need for a screen. And also give you access to some of these higher level things.
I know you worked a lot with the Android community while developing navigation. How did the community shape the development of the navigation component?
Yeah, navigation, like most of the architecture components, have really benefited from being part of the external community. And actually we develop in Android AOSP so that any developer can look through the source code and even offer patches. We've gotten a couple patches already. And that's really helped kind of shape kind of what the priorities are and what we focus on to really make it the best 1.0 out there and the best release that we can.
Well, that's great. Well, thank you so much, Ian. And once again, I'm Dan, talking with Ian Lake, the tech lead on the navigation component.
Thanks for having me.